Let's get more in depth on the political ramifications of a possibly independent Kurdistan. Jason Stanford is a partner with the Truman National Security Project. He joins us live now from Austin, Texas. Jason, thanks for joining us. Let's talk first about this move by Kurdistan. How much of a blow will this be to the U.S.? After all, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry talking with a high-level delegation from Kurdistan here in Washington yesterday. And as we know, just last week, meeting with Barzani in Erbil. Kurdistan independence, obviously not something the Obama administration would like to see, especially now.
No, I don't think anyone wants to see it. What we really have to worry about in Iraq is exactly what is happening right now. We need Iraq to, well, traditionally Iraq has had, the Shia, the Sunni, and the Kurdistan. And whoever's in charge puts the other two down. The only way the Iraqi state can withstand ISIL and maintain control is if everyone cooperates. So far, President Maliki has not been cooperative on that. That is exactly what the American position is. Everyone needs to hold together if they're going to hold strong. This is very bad news.
Former Iraqi Prime Minister Alawi this week is quoted as saying that the U.S. policy towards Iraq has been without a compass. Is that fair? And can and should the Obama administration be doing more?
Well, it's changed a bit over the last 10 years, and of course we should be doing more, but I think we're doing exactly what we should be doing right now. Now, let's remember, we got into this mess because President Bush first invaded and then signed a treaty to get all of our troops out. Iraqi President Maliki was for that treaty. He would not negotiate to leave a force behind. He was not able to defend the country against this ISIL invader. What we need to be doing now is exactly what we're doing, is helping defend Iraq by supporting their military, but demanding political reforms, because a strong military without political reforms is going to be useless in Iraq.
We've talked about the United States. We've talked about Iraq. Let's shift gears just a bit. Tony Chang just talking about the troop movements on the Saudi border. We've also heard same thing on the Jordanian border with Iraq earlier this week. It shows that there's a real growing concern in the area about this threat from the Islamic State, wouldn't you say?
Right, absolutely. I think what we saw in Syria was what happens when a government over there fails. They have a failed state in Syria. That allowed extremists to take hold and find a base. It's the last thing we want. They want to use that base to attack the United States and Europe. In fact, what happened with the Turkish truck drivers and the consulate staff is exactly what we're worried about, because they're a NATO partner. Now they're spreading into Iraq, or have spread into Iraq. The other countries in the region know this is a threat, but luckily they are strong governments. What we need to do right now is support moderate rebels in Syria and beat them back there, and also defend Iraq, but demanding political reforms as we do it.
You mentioned strong governments, and yet the Washington Post reported late last week that Jordan is concerned about a homegrown ISIS movement there. Naturally, these countries worried about the spillover coming over from Iraq, but even homegrown concerns. What do you see?
And those are always concerns, but what happened in Syria was they were having a civil war, and ISIL was able to capitalize on that. Jordan, all of these countries have homegrown elements that they need to be concerned about, but these countries aren't fighting civil wars. Syria was where the government fell.
Give me your idea of what the landscape looks like out there. I mean, you mentioned that the United States wants to weave this whole thing together, keep Iraq together. But, the Kurdistan officials who were here yesterday said that basically their neighbor now is a terrorist nation. And I think that's the concern with a lot of these countries in that region.
I think that's everyone's concern right now. And the one good thing we have going for us right now in the region is a common enemy, and that will unite a lot of these countries. And heck, right now, Iran and the United States have a common enemy and a reason to align, however tenuously, because we do not have a common goal, that's for sure. So at the very least, all of these countries know that we have to engage in the region, and there is no other country in the world, unfortunately, that can lead this sort of coalition other than the United States right now.
Jason Stanford joining us from Austin, Texas. Thanks so much for offering your analysis this evening.